So here are the top 5 reasons tenancies go bad. Hi, I'm Jess.
I'm Adam.
And we are forthelandlords.com. We help landlords get more money, less hassle, and their time back. And today we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons tenancies go bad.
Okay, number one.
Number 1.
Poor referencing.
Starts at the beginning.
You've moved the wrong person in.
Yep.
And you've either cut corners, you've not done any referencing, you've not done a full credit check, you've not got the landlord reference back, you've not done an employment check. I had a landlord recently just so desperate to get the tenant in, he asked us to just not wait for the employment reference landlord to come back.
Yeah.
We made him sign a waiver. I'm like, you're crazy, but yeah, I think that's number 1 for me.
That is crazy. So he saved, we were going to get the referencing back within another couple of days.
Or something. Like,
so that might have been £100.
If you've got a tenant that works for a big company or like, the NHS or something, the referencing might be slow on the
Takes a little bit longer.
Big HR department.
Yeah. So for the sake of £100 extra rent, he'd waived.
Yeah, they might have been lying about how much money they're in a way.
At that point, you have to throw them back in the sea, get some new tenants back, new applicants, and go through the whole thing. You'd lose £1,000 worth of rent. But I'd much rather have the right tenant in and say no to the wrong tenant. Bearing in mind, out of 20 applicants, we say no to 19 of them, so there's only one that's right. Yeah, that's a crazy decision.
Number 2 is arrears. Yeah. And being slow to intervene.
I was going to say, actually, if arrears are really strange. If somebody can't afford the rent, they can't afford the rent. There's virtually nothing you can do about that. But it's almost a temporary situation. In between jobs, lost a job. There's more to pay for than rent. So kids, school clothes, food, and whatever. People go out and they find jobs and they can pay their rent eventually.
Yeah.
So the arrears, if you let it go bad, it's because either they generally can't afford it, in which case keep good conversation going, or they're trying it on. And if they try it on and then they get away with it, it goes off course so quickly. 9 times out of 10, if you're in touch with the tenant early, you talk to them and see, are they trying it on, or have they got a genuine situation? If they've got a genuine situation, put something in place, put a payment plan back in place. Almost always, 9 times out of 10, you can bring it back on track, either immediately, because they were trying it on, or back on tracks insofar they're paying their rent within a month or 2 because they've got a new job, and then the arrears paid off over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, something like that on a payment plan. Arrears, if you handle them right, shouldn't be a problem, but if you don't, they go off the rails very quickly.
Okay, number 3 is maintenance and either being slow to repair things or just ignoring it.
We know from experience, you send an email out to get some work done to a landlord, and it's very easy just to ignore it. All the emails with all the statements in it, they go into the inbox, with the one with the maintenance goes to the junk folder.
I'm about to go away with work or on holiday. I'll reply to this when I get back. Something like that.
So as a landlord, you've got obligations. I mean, that's a small percentage of our landlords, but it happens.
Also, get people saying, "Don't do anything yet. I'm going to claim on my insurance."
Yes.
Well, you have to pay for it first, and then whatever. Yeah. So don't ignore it.
You can't ignore it for a couple of reasons. If it's a small thing, it becomes a big thing. Your tenant gets annoyed, might stop paying the rent, and maybe justifiably so. We all say that it's not justifiable to do that, but if they're really living in a big problem, it can sometimes be justifiable, and it's hard to actually say please pay your rent if the ceiling's fallen down and it's all on the living room floor. But then the other reason is your tenant has got recourse to councils, environmental health officers, all sorts of legal no-win, no-fee solicitors get involved. It just gets really hard to get unstuck out of that situation. Fix it quickly and in time, and you won't get yourself in those problems.
Okay. Next one is, it's kind of actually at the end of the tenancy, and it's bad inventory or no inventory.
But at the beginning and the end. So when your tenant first moves in, you've got to take a photographic inventory. It's got to be photographic, got to be documented, got to be signed by the tenant. If you don't have that, and then you don't do another one at the end, you can't compare beginning and end, you can't see what the issue is, and you literally can't get any of your deposit money back. So if you don't have it at the beginning and don't have it at the end, doesn't just go off track, it's just gone.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about that at all. And yeah, we see some landlords actually not willing to pay for an inventory. What's an inventory? 120 quid, 130 quid, something like
200
that?
maybe, yeah.
Depends on the size of the house. But yeah, without it, then how would you know? Aside from the condition before and after, you've also got to prove smoke alarms are working, all the things are compliant. If throughout the tenancy, there's some black mold in the corner, it's nice to be able to say, well, there wasn't at the beginning, or whatever it was. So yeah, having those things done is really, really important. Got to be photographic. It's got to exist.
Exactly. And the fifth one is compliance failures or lapses.
They're just a no-no.
Yeah.
Just can't. I mean, it's going to cost because fines and it's safety first. It's the safety of the tenancy and the tenant, the people living there. So
a lot of people,
zero tolerance on that.
A lot of people will let their gas certificate slip by a month and think that's okay.
No, not a day.
There's no leeway, none at all.
Not one day. And if you wanted to evict your tenant later on, a judge might want to see unbroken tenancy certificates going back through the full tenancy. So you can't do it. Gas certificates can be done MOT style. Most compliance can be. So 12-month certificate, you can do it on the month before, and the person signing it will give you 30 months, so the anniversary date is preserved. So don't plan it to coincide with that, that anniversary date. Plan it the month before. You still get your anniversary date, and it's got to be an unbroken record.
Well, there we are.
The
5 reasons.
They are the 5 reasons that tenancies go bad, and they do. If you do it wrong, that's they're all going south. Right, that's it for us. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found that useful.
Cheers.
Bye for now.